Today, we have some of the leading innovation labs in the AI space. We're doing implementation at scale for several clients, and we're a great place to work in the AI space. Something that I also want to share very quickly that we're very proud of. The government of India recently selected us as their partner to build India's first large reasoning model. And the reasoning part of it is important because I want to now move to the next slide over here. So we started 3 years back in the era of pre-training. And think of the pre-training models as when ChatGPT was released 3 years back, that think of the pre-training models as a high school student. They have studied and absorbed all the knowledge and now is able to faithfully reproduce what it has learned. But we have moved now very clearly from the era of pre-training to reasoning, planning, and now moving into the multi-agentic system. Right? So in terms of, if you think of the reasoning era, think of it as a university student that not only has knowledge, but is able to reason. They're able to answer questions that don't exist in the knowledge, but are able to take the knowledge and give answers beyond, think through their answers and such. And then we move to the area of agentic systems, which is not only able to reason with the knowledge, but then has the agency to take actions on our behalf and then execute on our behalf. The incredible thing is that all of this has happened in 2 years. So we have not seen such rapid pace of technology transformation or development. It is really amazing if you think of what's happened in just a short period of 3 years. Now, the pace of adoption is also very, very high. Right? If you look at the different technologies, how long it took for them to reach 100 million users, telephones took about 75 years, television took 13 years, ChatGPT took 2 months. Just the comparison is incredible. And then Meta Threads took 5 days. So that's the pace of adoption. If something is good, if something is useful, humans will adopt them, and the pace of adoption is really going up. However, it is not translating today, as we all know, to the pace of adoption in our enterprises. And the cost of waiting is very high. Because of the amount of proliferation of technology, one of the strategies that some companies have adopted is that we're going to wait for the dust to settle, and then we'll figure out which is the winning technology and we'll bet behind that. That is a very risky strategy. Samsung just realized that they had a big decline in their profits in 2025, and that was essentially because they waited. They waited to invest in the AI-based technologies and the chips that were useful for AI, and competitors had already invested, and Samsung, that was one of the reasons that they really took a hit on their profits. And so the thing that I want to say is that AI is now not a good to have. It's not something that's going to give you incremental advantage. It is at the core of your business now. It is an imperative. It's a competitive necessity. And some studies say that it's going to add about 15.7 trillion to the global GDP, right? And if all of these numbers or some version of these numbers is to be believed, it means that there is no time to wait. We cannot afford to wait. It's a big risk to wait. So one of the questions that now we keep hearing from our clients is that how do we move from pilots to innovation? How do we move from pilots to scale so that we can drive value at scale? And let me give you a few examples over here. Everyone's familiar with Duolingo. I'm sure everyone's used it at some point of time or the other. 3 years back when ChatGPT came out, there was a very clear risk to Duolingo's business model because ChatGPT can also now teach you languages. And one approach could have been that, okay, this product is going to go away. But Duolingo used it as an opportunity. They used the new LLM models, they used the reasoning models to launch about 140 new products. They used it to create customized training programs. They used it to create role play with their users. And as a result of that, they moved from 25 million daily active users to 50 million daily active users. And in 3 years, the revenues went from 330 million to 1 billion. They could have waited, but then the 330 could have well gone to zero. So that is the range of outcomes that we're talking about. And this is a really great example of how a company has used AI to drive revenue growth, not just cost savings. I'm going to give you another example over here. The new product idea generator. Those of us in mature industries, consumer products, insurance, financial services, etc., know that one of the biggest drivers of growth is new product innovation. And new product innovation takes time, it is risky, it fails, you have a 90% failure rate or something in that range. Here's an example of what we did for one of our clients. We created a product concept generator for them. It uses market research, it uses the widely available information on latest trends, it uses social media and so on, and is able to generate concepts in a few hours. Something that would take several weeks to get the process started. You spend several weeks, come up with the concept, and then you start the process of development, testing, etc. That process has now been shrunk from several weeks to a few days or a few hours to generate the initial concepts, and then they can start moving to the next steps. So big boost in helping them drive innovation. We'll take another example over here. All of us know how difficult it is to hire great talent. The amount of time, senior executive time, that is spent on scanning through resumes, interviewing people, and all of that stuff. This is an application that we have now deployed on Fractal. We developed it, so it's Fractal on Fractal. Okay, it's called Ikigai. And what the application does is that it administers tests. Anyone that wants to join Fractal, we now say, don't send your resume, take the test first. Okay? And after that, we will decide whether you should send the resume in. But that test is progressive in the sense that it determines your level of proficiency and then administers new questions to you. No two people will get the same set of questions, and it even does the first round of interviewing. The result that we're seeing is that we now need to conduct 1/3 fewer interviews. Sorry, only 1/3 the number of interviews that we were conducting earlier to get the same number of people. Okay? So 2/3 of executive time that was going in interviewing has now been reduced, and we can straight away go with just, with 1/3 of that time to hire the people. Take another example over here. Large health insurance company. By regulation, they're supposed to audit the customer interaction conversations. But without technology, they can only do a sample. They would do 2 to 3%. Using AI, they now audit 100% of their calls. Okay? So it dramatically improves compliance for them. But what's more is that they're now able to assess the context of those conversations and be very proactive about their interaction with the customers. Some customers might be calling frequently to get statements. Some customers might be frequently calling to ask, some questions that are, that can be easily proactively answered. So now, not only do they audit all of the 100% questions, but they're able to take actions which improve customer interaction, which improve customer satisfaction, and even drive revenue. So those were some examples of organizations that have successfully implemented AI to drive revenue, to improve customer satisfaction. So the question now is that how do we go from pilots to performance? Okay, so which takes me to the next part of this conversation, where we'll outline some sort of principles. Now, here's an interesting thing. OpenAI released a list of their top users, companies that are using 1 trillion tokens or more, a list of about 30 companies. And the interesting thing is that there are only 2 Fortune 500 companies in that whole list. Okay? One of them is Salesforce, the other is T-Mobile. And just that alone should tell us how much room there is for increasing the consumption of this technology within large enterprises. Now, I'm sure several of you have heard of this report, have seen this report, read this report, whatever it be. The MIT report that says 95% of Gen AI pilots fail, only 5% succeed. And here's the interesting thing. They said 95% of pilots fail because complex workflows are not embedded. Getting benefit from AI in enterprises is hard. It is hard because we have complex workflows. We have multiple different departments and units that need to interact. We have data that is in different silos. We have regulatory constraints to consider. We have customer reputation things to consider, and all of that. When you put all of that together, getting benefit from enterprise AI is hard. It's not so much about the technology. It is about embedding complex workflows into that, into what we're doing. It is about ensuring that we start with a clear problem statement. Now, this last statement here, I did not say it. Is the report that says this, okay? So whenever they found companies that used external partnerships, they found that they had double the rate of success. So I want to share with you some principles that we have put together to say what drives enterprise success in implementing AI at scale. Number one is starting with the right outcome, or starting with the outcome. And we see that all organizations broadly operate in these 5 areas. Okay? Building better products faster so that you can get more market share, you can fulfill the customer's requirements. Engaging seamlessly with your audiences and means driving more revenue through better customer communication, marketing, customer servicing, and customer satisfaction. Improving operational effectiveness, meaning driving better cost of your operations. It could be the back office operations, finance, etc., sales. It could be manufacturing costs. It could be customer servicing costs. Enabling executives to make better decisions by getting them data in real time, insights in real time, and then building a sustainable future, preventing disruption, being able to assimilate all the trends that are coming around the corner so that we are not caught by surprise, but we're prepared for it, right? So it's really important that there is an outcome that we're starting with. Number 2 is to reimagine the process at scale to ensure that the pilots succeed. Many times, people say, what is your AI strategy? And I often say that actually the question should be the other way around. What is my business strategy? And how can I embed AI into that strategy? How can I redo my processes so that we can more successfully execute our business strategy using AI? So again, some examples over here. Large confectionery company, they're using AI to do determine what are the right orders to place. Or using AI to ensure that supply is met and you're able to improve your fulfillment rates. HDFC Bank uses AI to handle about 16 million calls per month, doing the work about 1,500 people, right? Or a large asset management company, they're using AI to help power their salespeople. Salespeople get a sales assist, which enables them to be more effective and then sell better. So reimagining the business process using AI. Now, AI can do wonders, and it is like magic. However, it requires money. Okay? And so being able to set aside the budget is really important. And this is a slide that I use often. It's very inspirational. So JP Morgan, they have about 10% of their operating income dedicated to technology budgets. And if you look at this, they've got Run the Bank, which spends on Run the Bank, which today is like a little more than 50%, let's say 60%, and Change the Bank at about 40%. But the interesting thing is that the Change the Bank number is growing much faster than Run the Bank. So technology spends overall are going to go up. Today, enterprises spend about 3% of their revenues on technology. We believe that that number is going to go up to 4.5% over time, because nobody can say that all of this innovation is happening in the world, but we are not spending on technology. The question is, where are we spending it and towards what purpose? We spoke about how it is so difficult in enterprises to drive change and to deploy new technology. And that is because of all of these reasons. So we need to create structures, frameworks within the organization to handle things such as data privacy, data governance, security, change management. Do the stuff that we do align with our values and principles? And the products that we're putting out there, will they stand the newspaper test of transparency and all of that kind of stuff? So these are the enablers that are required within the organization to make sure that we're able to implement. And then, last thing, and probably the most important, preparing the workforce for the age of AI. Right? Work is going to change. It already is changing quite rapidly. And how do we prepare for it? Maybe moving from process metrics to outcome metrics, preparing for an organization that's going to be flatter. We're going to have fewer direct reports because a lot of the things that our direct reports do today could be done by agents, right? And then training your organization so that people are ready, they're AI fluent to start using this. I want to end by saying that we have a short window for action because things are moving fast, and companies that deploy AI at scale, deploy it rapidly, are the ones that will succeed. And the ones that wait, I believe, do that at severe risk to themselves. So with that, I want to say thank you very much. It was a pleasure.